seems. I don't got what you need, no. Got what you need, no. Got what you need, no. Why you so evil?
Right, just like that, we are back on another episode of Line for Line. Very special guest in the building, a very talented artist in the building. I'll let you say your name so I don't slaughter it, young lady.
Sheree. I go by Sheree.
Yeah, tell us a little bit of something about you.
I always butcher this question. I just recently, maybe like last week, turned 22. I've been singing since I was a kid. My mom said I was humming in her arms. So like it's kind of always been a part of me. I started writing my own songs like probably when I was like 8 years old. Taking it super duper serious when I was 19. When I started, when I put out my first EP. I kind of fell off from music growing up because I'm so interested in a lot of things. Like I like to draw, I like to cook, I like to advertise. Like I like to do a lot of different things that kind of like I'm like, is singing supposed to be what I'm doing? Because I'm so good at this and I'm so good at that, and I kind of had to find my way back to music, and I did, and I found a lot of people that are into the same things as me music-wise. Somebody that I was super connected with musically, GBG Kevo. Rest in peace. He helped me a lot in staying focused with music because he knew how bad it was with me and just like trailing off into different directions. He's always on my phone like, did you write? Get in the studio, come over, let's make a song. Like he's the one who basically helped me create A Girl Is a Gun, my first EP. So like after he passed, I never questioned whether or not I wanted to still keep doing music. I knew for a fact that it was like something that I have to do now. Not even like, I didn't view it as a hobby before, but like, of course, you know, I like to dibble and dabble in different things, but now it feels like this was like my destined thing to be doing musically, especially not even just for my sake anymore. It's like now I feel like I have to keep him alive. You know, I have to do this so he can live and see it through me.
Yes, ma'am.
So
yes, ma'am.
That's kind of where I'm at now, working on my new stuff.
So let's backtrack just a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing. What type of music was it that was played in your household growing up?
Played in my household, a lot of Beyonce.
Yeah.
A lot of Beyonce. Probably every album I know. I was a huge fan of Jennifer Hudson.
Okay.
Myself, growing up, Dreamgirls. She really made me feel like it was a chance for like little black girls like me, because you know she came from American Idol and she just blew up, and I loved her voice, and I loved like how she wasn't your everyday you know, singer. Like she wasn't like the society's favorite looking kind of girl. Like she was a black girl from Chicago that went on American Idol, and she blew up and she shot it down, and like it kind of gave me like at a young age I was like, dang, so I can do that. Like that's possible. That's not too far away for me to reach. So Jennifer, Beyonce, a lot of Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Carrie Hilson. Carrie Hilson. A lot of R&B. A lot of R&B and slow jams and stuff like that. That's what I grew up on.
At what point was it that you decided singing was for you?
What point?
Yeah, at what point?
Well, I did. I was in choir for 4 years, from I think elementary from 5th grade all the way up until I think my freshman year of school, I was in choir. And of course, I was the show off. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she can sing. And like once I got that glimpse, I'm like, oh, I have to go over the board, over the top. Because like I got this. I'm always the one getting called for solos. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, oh, can you sing this? Can you sing that? I remember, okay, sorry. I remember singing just different songs in the lunchroom in middle school. Now that I think back on it, like, as ironic as it sounds, I have terrible stage fright. Yeah. So, like, I was just thinking to myself, like, how did I do that in middle school? Because, like, to me, I'm like, I'm making a fool of myself. But everybody else is like, I love it. They loved it, and they wanted me to do it all the time. Yeah. But, I knew for a fact that singing was for me probably all my life. Yeah. Like, all my life. I never like, as even though I ventured off into different things, I always knew that I had a voice. Yeah. Like, I always knew if everything else failed, I have a voice. And it came so naturally. So I feel like when you get a gift like that so naturally, it's almost like that's what you're supposed to do, you know? Yeah. Like, I didn't have to work too hard for my voice. It's always been there. Gotcha. Before I got into choirs, before I started doing, music, I always knew how to sing.
Yeah, nice. So, tell us a little bit about your creative, how you come up with stuff, your creative process.
So with A Girl Is a Gun, honestly, a lot of people can relate to some of the songs that I put, which is funny because a lot of the songs that I made on that EP was purely thought and not really things that I was kind of going through. Maybe like 1 or 2 songs in there was like what I was going through, and others just like I'm just thinking stuff. What sounds good? What can I put out right away? So at first it was more of a like just putting things together that sounds good, that would appeal to my audience. But recently, since I've like backed up and I've taken a break and I've gotten to actually experience things in life, I feel like the creative process is a lot more slow and tedious. Yeah. Like, I like to pause in a moment that I'm having, and like if it feels like this is something I can write about and like other people relate, I just get on my phone and I start typing it in notes. Yeah. And I've recently I have a lot of songs in my notes written, some ready, some not, but I do know that I've grown a lot as a songwriter just by doing that instead of rushing it because I'm like, oh, this sounds good, so let me just throw this in, let me throw that in, but actually listening, like, how does this sound? How does this make me feel? How would this make someone else feel? Is this relatable? I relate to it. Like kind of things like that. Stepping back, questioning it, and patiently working through my art feels a lot better, actually.
Now the song Evil, that's definitely my favorite song from the project. Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about the process, the mental aspect of everything that went into that song.
Okay, so one night I think I had just came home from hanging out with somebody that I was just super into, and they had just recently broke my heart at that time because they're like, I mean, you're cool, but I don't really sing like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I don't know, I was just doing what I do, listening to YouTube beats, and I stumbled across this beat, and like lyrics just started to come out. Yeah. If I'm being honest, like lyrics just started to come out. Like I started feeling the emotions of that situation, and it just pieced together so right. Yeah. And I'm like, this is a hit. I'm just writing like, oh, you fucking evil.
Yeah.
He's so evil. So yeah, that's really how that happened.
Isn't that how music should be? True
It
emotions,
should, yes,
pure passion.
yes, and it feels a lot more natural. It feels a lot more relatable. Like I like it like that. I do, because I listen to music like that. So like it's only right that I take that time out and make music.
Yes,
like
ma'am.
That, you know.
Now you write your own music as well too, huh?
I do.
How does that come about? Like writing music and singing music are two different things. Like how is it that you're just able to do both like
Can
that?
I just say that is probably the most stressful part of the entire process. Like,
oh wow.
That's probably the one part that stresses me out the most, because I have a lot of mental blocks very often. So I would have to sit something down a lot more because of the new process that I've come up with. Like if I'm in that mode and it's all flowing and then all of a sudden it stops, I'm like, I can't finish this because it'll feel forced. And I feel like listeners can tell when you forcing a song.
Oh wow.
Because I know I can. I know when you just writing something, it's like it would sound real good, and then it's like kind of slowing up a little bit right there.
Yeah.
So like I try to put stuff down, learn new words, and like learn new flows, learn new ways to like piece words together. You know, in doing that, it makes the process a little less stressful.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been just when the natural stops, I have to go figure out how I can get that vibe back and how I can make it sound really good, like radio ready. You know, that's my biggest goal. I like my songs to sound like if nobody knew who wrote this and it just played on the radio, they like, it's fire. So that's kind of what I go for, and I do get that response a lot. People are like, what? This sounds like it would be on the radio. And I love that, because that's what I'm going for. I want it to sound professional.
Yes.
I want it to sound like, you know, you would play this in the club.
Well, it sounds really good, yeah.
You know, you're going to play this somewhere where people are going to hear it. So, yeah.
What does being an artist mean to you? Like, what's your definition of an artist?
Before being an artist to me meant, of course, the usual fame, money, exclusiveness, like before. And then when you get deeper into your craft, I think being an artist is being able to bring people together in a way that is not like, you know, normal. Like you can write. I feel like genuinely, I feel like music is probably the one thing that can really just like settle any difference between people. Like a lot of people like to divide everything, but music is probably the only thing that can bring people together. If you have a common song among other people, you should see the way people just like, it's like you can start a really good conversation over one good song. Yeah. You know, and I think that's really dope how music can just bring people together like that. And I feel like a lot of different artists bring a lot of different people together. And I know for me personally, everybody that I know that is really super deep into like that R&B stuff, they love the slow, they love the vibes. They always tell me like, I love your music. Like you give me that vibe, that back in the day R&B slow vibe, and I love that. I love that I can do that to people, that they can all come together and listen to this song and they're like, oh, it's so good.
Yes, ma'am.
So to me, being an artist is, basically just being able to bring people together.
There you go. Who are some people that you look forward to working with now, going forward?
Honestly, I have very little collaborations besides GBG Kevo. He's the only person I think that I've had any collabs with. So of course I want to be able to reach out and get in the studio with a lot of the local artists that we have around. So I guess once that's done, I don't think, of course I think about like who would I want to collaborate with. That's already, big. Like I want to take baby steps because I'm not even close yet. Like I'm not even close to that. So of course I just, I want to focus on the local artists.
Yeah. Now, what are some projects that you got coming up? That's some stuff that you're working on now.
So I have been working on my album. It's called Written in the Stars. I came up with the title a long time ago, but now I'm just like piecing, like I'm writing and taking songs that I feel like can align with what that means, because Written in the Stars can be taken a lot of ways. So I'm really just taking songs that can mean different things in that way, and it's all so far sounding really good.
Now I know you'll have an exclusive for Line to premiere
Of
on New Music
course,
Fridays.
of course.
Let's go.
Of course.
Now, as we get ready to close out this interview, you heard it here first. What are some things that you want to be remembered for when it comes to music?
Me? I want to be remembered for taking my time and for being very considerate of my listeners, and knowing that when you listen to a song, you don't want to hear no trash. You don't want to hear no rah-rah. I know exactly what the people who love to hear my songs want to hear, and I like to tend to them. I like to care about them in the way I create and produce my songs. So I want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for taking time with my music and actually caring about what I'm putting out. People be like, I love her music because you can tell that she cares. That she cares about what we're listening to because of how awesome she puts it out.
Yes, ma'am. I like that. Is there anyone out there that you want to shout out?
Of course I want to shout out GBG Kevo. I miss you, bro. I love you. I want to shout out Sydney for hooking me up with this awesome interview, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have even been here.
Let's go.
So honestly, besides those two, no, everything's cool.
It's just like that. We just wrapped up another episode of Line for Line.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line.